This video aims to share with you elements of context and description for the location of the task for the 2023 edition of the Architecture Student Contest by Saint-Gobain. As you know, the task will take place in Portugal, in its capital city, Lisbon. The challenge for the competitors will consist on the urban rehabilitation of an area close to the city center. This area belongs to the municipality and is currently used by some city services. The task will ask for the renovation of one existing building to be reused for a new cultural activity, for the project of a new residential building, and for the urban design of the ground public space that connects these buildings. We want to give, as far as possible, a flavor of Lisbon for those who don't know yet this wonderful city. Thanks to drone views, we want you to visualize the city and the area of the task, its life and atmosphere. The city is located on the right bank of the Tagus River, very close to its estuary, where it meets the Atlantic Ocean. It is a very large river in this zone, meaning that the other bank is at least 2 kilometers away in its narrow zone. So, the river looks almost as if it was the sea for the pedestrians walking along its bank. Lisbon is a very old city, already existing under the name of Alicipo in the time of the Roman Empire. Its relation with the river and the sea close by was always the driver for its existence and development, allowing the city to become the main engine of a global economy with the Portuguese discoveries around the world and the overseas expansion from the 15th century. The city slowly started to grow outside the medieval walls in the early 16th century, to the west, with the first urban planned street designed in the Bairro Alto Hill, under a set of rules established by the king, and the area of Belém by the river, becoming the intercontinental port of Lisbon. On November 1st, 1755, Lisbon was violently shaken by a powerful and unexpected earthquake, followed by an overwhelming tidal wave that severely destroyed the city. It was the motivation for a complete renovation of the city center urban design, with the demolition of the ruined old medieval streets to implement geometric street organization around a big rectangular square facing the river, the Comércio Square. Came the final part of the 19th century and the city development started to look north, away from the river, with the construction of the iconic Liberdade Avenue, the Lisbon Boulevard inspired by the Champs-Élysées in Paris. It is nowadays the most glamorous and expensive area in Lisbon. Along the river, the city continued to develop around activities related to maritime trade, with many industrial and storage buildings being built. This happened along with the transformation of the river shores, changing from sand beaches to mooring docks for ships, through landfills throughout the late 19th and early 20th centuries. This was the case for the area where the task is located. It is called the East Boa Vista Embankment, and its construction started around 1855 with the intention of sanitizing a dirty and degraded industrial area made up of a succession of small ravines and private landfills that served the small industries that were growing in a disorganized manner. One of the major initiatives was to build a new straight street parallel to the river, Dom Luís I Street, crossing the area which is the front street of the contest task plot. In this city area, the land lots are historically organized perpendicularly to the river and with long and narrow shape, originated from the old buqueirões, which were the river branch penetrations inside the land that served as access to the warehouses installed there. The task of the 18th edition of the International Saint-Gobain Architecture Student Contest is to develop a proposal for the revitalization with public and cultural use of a plot included in the Boa Vista Embankment urban area, currently belonging to the City Hall, with some buildings that are used as a hub for several municipal services. The task proposes that the area under study should be redefined to be used as a local cultural center, oriented for audiovisual art combined with residential functions. To introduce this Lisbon area, we interviewed architect Filipa Roseta, city councillor for urban planning.
Hello everyone, I'm Filipa Roseta. I'm an architect and I'm now City Councillor in the city of Lisbon. I'm here with you today to present you with a challenge, an architectural challenge. We want to reinvent the city core. We want to redesign an area around the new Lisbon Video Library. And we want to reinvent housing around this area. We want you to think about what a new urban path could be connecting the river to the city core. We ask you for your ideas, and we want to do this within the spirit of the new European Bauhaus, an idea that needs to be green, sustainable, inclusive, and above all, beautiful. So we thank Saint-Gobain for giving us the opportunity to provide this challenge in a worldwide manner for architectural students all around the world. And the winner might just be built. So we are looking forward for your ideas.
The task is intended to be developed on a plot that is very integrated in the urban fabric, based on the development plan defined to this area. It is surrounded by existing and under construction buildings and streets that organize this urban fabric. The task proposal respects what is forecasted on the mentioned development plan that proposes the renovation of some of the existing buildings, the demolition of others, and the construction of a new one. All of this aiming to allow new urban use of the area. Therefore, the task is divided in 3 challenges with different requirements. Before coming to the challenges, it is important to mention that a number of existing buildings in the plot area are intended to be demolished. Specifically, the ones that currently exist on the west side of the plot are to be considered in the work to be done as non-existing. The first challenge regards the renovation of one of the existing buildings in the plot that we called Building A. This building was built in the early decades of the 20th century to accommodate the public hygiene services. It is a 3-story building with a reinforced concrete structure still used nowadays by the urban hygiene and also by the cultural city services. The ground level floor is organized in quite open areas that work mostly as storage and maintenance facilities. The first and second floors are used as offices. The second floor exists on the rooftop attic with its windows emerging from the roof. It is a long building organized facing the interior of the plot with almost 100 meters of facade in a very regular metric of around 5 meter distance between visible pillars that mark a very regular facade rhythm. This rhythm is also set by the regular windows and doors closed with visible brick arches. Its intended new function is to be used as a video library, making available to public and investigators the archive of audiovisual contents about Lisbon. The new function should include auditory, exhibition room, cafeteria, video servicing areas, deposit and archive, private visioning areas, and so on, organized in an entirely reshaped interior. The second challenge regards the construction of a new building that we named Building B. Its location is well defined on the development plan, taking into account the location of surrounding buildings, existing or under construction. It will be positioned in perpendicular orientation from the Dom Luís I Street, which is the main access to the interior of the plot area. On the west side is under construction a new building that will have the same maximum height of 26.2 meters that will be used as office building for EDP, the National Electric Power Company. On the other side of the Dom Luís I Street, there already exists another imposing building that also belongs to EDP as its headquarters. Building B is intended for residential use. Its use will be divided in 3 areas. The ground floor will be entirely dedicated to external access to elevated floors and to commerce or service activities, specifically galleries, ateliers, and innovation businesses, startup type. The elevated floors use will be divided in 2 separated areas. 75% of useful floor area will be dedicated for private apartments, 60% one bedroom and 40% two bedrooms. The remaining 25% will be dedicated for co-living spaces, organized in independent living units of maximum 35 square meters to be used by resident artists of the audiovisual center. This area will also include supporting common services and living areas. The third challenge is to design the ground exterior space inside the plot, allowing the interconnection between the buildings and the quarter crossing and connection with surrounding streets. It will include public green spaces to be used as enjoyment spaces. Specifically, the pedestrian connection with the Boa Vista Street existing on the north limit of the area should be assured by crossing the archway that exists under the building that faces this street. This path is critical to ensure the access from south to north, allowing the route to the Bairro Alto Hill behind, a well-known night amusement neighborhood. This was a short description of the city, the plot area, and the task to be developed. Thank you for your attention.